So I'm already on record that I think USC is going to beat Oregon State this weekend in Corvallis relatively easily. Hopefully the team isn't walking around with that same mindset, and I'll tell you why. Are you ready? Stay tuned. Here we go.
You are Locked On Trojans, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fight on, everyone. I'm your host, Mark Hulkin, and thank you for making Locked On USC your first listen every day. Whether you're watching on YouTube or wherever you download your podcast, we are free. And again, I want to thank you once again for coming along for the ride. Hope you're enjoying the show. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. It means a lot more than you know. And if you just want to hear the voice and not look at the face, go ahead. You can follow me there on my Twitter at Mark Hulkin. Give me some feedback there. I love the interaction. So tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't. I'm going to tell you what I like on paper is that USC always has more talent than Oregon State. Always have, always will. And rarely is there a time when the Beavers are considered the better program. Just to kind of put that into context for everyone, USC leads the overall series between the two, 63-12 with 4 ties throughout their history. Now, with that said, the last time these two teams played, Oregon State, they were the better team, flat out. And they were definitely the more stable program. So when they left the Coliseum with a big win, 45-27, it wasn't even that close on the scoreboard. The last time Oregon State won in Los Angeles against the Trojans was 1960, before last season. So they enjoyed and relished every second of that victory. I don't see that same type of outcome happening this weekend. And that's because USC, they welcomed Lincoln Riley. They brought in some new players. And they're bringing a very stable program up to Corvallis compared to last year. Not only that, USC is undefeated, and they're the number 7 ranked team in the country. So it sounds, you got Lincoln Riley, number 7 team in the country. If you've been paying attention, this team offensively is almost unstoppable. Defensively, they are one of the most opportunistic, if not the most opportunistic defense in the country. All signs point to big USC win, right? So why should USC be taking this game more seriously than I am? I'll give you a few reasons here. Number one, I'm not playing, so they have to take the game more seriously. I'm going to get more serious here in a second, but just to kind of, again, USC has always, I went over the overall number. They own Oregon State. Nevertheless, in the last 7 meetings between these two schools, up in Corvallis, again, got to emphasize this, Oregon State has won 4 of those 7. So they hold the advantage. Now, USC does hold the overall advantage in Corvallis with 14 wins to 5 losses. So you can see that those 4 wins of the 5 wins that Oregon State has, 4 of them have come within the last 7 contests. Now, I'm sure everyone knows the dynamics. USC doesn't play up there every other year. When the Pac-12 formed, some teams jump from the North Division, fall off. So this is actually going to be the first time USC is visiting Corvallis since 2018. Now, this is also going to be the first time since 2000, the year 2000, that both USC and Oregon State are 3-0 to start their seasons. And in 2000 was also the last time both teams were undefeated when facing each other Oregon State won that contest 31-21 in Corvallis. Guess who the quarterback of that team was? Yeah, it's Oregon State's current head coach, Jonathan Smith. He had a pedestrian day, 10 for 29, 157 yards and a touchdown. So in 2000, Paul Hackett was USC's coach. Pete Carroll was still a year away. Nevertheless, at that time, Oregon State was actually a really good team. Dennis Erickson, I believe, was their head coach, and they were going to Fiesta Bowls at the time. So, again, typically USC is always the better program, but there you will find an occasional year, a blip in the universe where Oregon State is actually the better team. They're not right now. Although some might argue they could be on equal footing just because they've been running the same system, have the same head coach for the last few years, where USC is trying to make it all happen now. So I think, again, though, when you look at on paper, if you were to try and just look at things with an unbiased point of view, people would probably lean towards USC being the better team. And again, another reason why USC needs to take this trip very seriously, when they're highly ranked, like they were in 2006 and 2008, and they go up to Corvallis, things don't turn out too well for USC. They lost both of those games. Fortunately, this game is on a Saturday and not a Thursday, which both of those games were when they lost. So USC has that going for them. I mentioned the Fog Bowl on yesterday's episode with Pete Arbogast. And again, please, I want to apologize once again for the technical challenges that we had. It was of no fault of Pete, and we will try and have him on again once we get some of the platform issues worked out when we bring guests on the show. We've done it twice now. We've had issues. So until we get it worked out, you're going to have to go with me solo. Anyways, back to the show. What were we talking about here? Yeah, the Fog Bowl. So, sometimes even Mother Nature makes it challenging for USC to win up there. It literally took a Reggie Bush punt return for a touchdown and a Dominic Byrd super catch that I think when he made the catch, the fog actually opened up for the moment so fans could actually see what happened. That was the most surreal game I have ever attended. I literally was in the stands, and I did not know what happened on the field until I heard the reaction of the crowd. And that's for the people who were at the 50-yard line who had a better view. It was either a roar of the crowd or a moan, and that's how I knew what was going on. So USC was able to eke out that win in that Fog Bowl in 2005 when they had a really, really good team, loaded. Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, Lendale White, Dominic Byrd. The list goes on and on and on. So while USC may or may not have another Reggie Bush, waiting in the wings with Rayleigh Brown, Oregon State does have what they call an Anthony Gould, Gould. And against Montana State, he became the first Pac-12 player since Washington's Dante Pettis back in 2017 to have 2 receiving touchdowns and a punt return touchdown in the same game. I was getting to that. This is why I brought up the Reggie Bush punt return. I would hate to see USC lose by giving up a special teams touchdown. Hopefully we don't see that happen in this game. By the way, Anthony Gould is the only player to accomplish that feat so far in 2022. Not even USC's Jordan Addison can make that claim, and he returns punts as well as catches touchdowns. So a concern for the Trojans who, I kind of just alluded to this a moment ago. They've been so-so on their kickoff coverage. We've seen it. I raised the issue. If you If you saw the episode where I was giving out grades, I brought this up specifically. So they probably don't want to test their punt coverage too frequently. So far, USC hasn't been hurt in their return. Well, covering the other team's returns. And also, fortunately, USC doesn't punt the ball very frequently. In fact, they've only punted 5 times total this season. And that's really good. And another reason why the Trojans should probably take this game seriously, not that, Riley's going to not let them look past Oregon State this weekend. Look, and I'm just going to be a little sarcastic here. The Beavers are going to their brother from another mother playbook. They're borrowing a page from the Oregon Ducks, and they're going to try and bust out their uniforms they wore back in 2008 when USC was number 1. Came in the Reser Stadium, they left losing. Well, Oregon State wore their orange tops and black pants, and they ended up rushing the field. So we'll see if that works for them the second time around. Again, USC isn't number 1. They're only number 7. It's not on a Thursday night. They're playing it on a Saturday. Don't push your luck too much there. And here's probably the number 1 reason why USC, Lincoln Riley, will have the team focused on this game. This is going to be the last time USC visits Oregon State as a member of the Pac-10 plus 2 conference, aka the Pac-12. And it could be the last time ever. Maybe they schedule them out of conference. Who knows? In the future. But that's enough reason alone to know that this old series is coming to an end. You know what else is getting old? Me. We're all getting old, man. So, our bodies are changing, and maybe we're even getting a little bit of a dad bod. No, I'm not a dad, and I keep myself pretty fit, if I do say so myself. But a lot of us, we don't have time to work out, but you want that energy and that body you once had. So why don't you discover Nugenix, and you can feel revived, working out like you used to. Remember when winning felt easy? That's because when you were younger, you were at your peak of your testosterone production. What some have called the winner's hormone or the man hormone. Wouldn't it be nice to get that winner's edge again and that old swagger back in your step? You want more energy to counter the negative physical effects of aging? Nugenix Total T testosterone booster with testofen will help you turn back the clock, re-energize your workouts, get you better results at the gym, and help you look better and feel like the man you really want to be. Nugenix Total T contains man-boosting key ingredients like testofen, and that has been validated in 5 clinical studies shown to boost free testosterone levels in men. And because Nugenix Total T boosts free testosterone that the aging process robs, you feel stronger, leaner, with more energy and drive, and more passion too. Your partner will notice the difference. So, Nugenix Total T is the number 1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Nugenix Total T can help re-energize your life and help you get back the powerful, confident, good-looking warrior you used to be. Now, go get a complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T when you text college to 231-231. Text now and get a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, their most powerful fat incinerator ever, with key ingredients to help you get back into shape. Absolutely free. Love that word. So text college to 231-231. Text college to 231-231. So, going by the numbers, this game looks like it should be a shootout. I was looking at the comparison numbers here. I'm going to go over a few of these with you. You tell me how you think this game's going to go. USC as a team, they're averaging through their first 3 games 50.7 points. So almost 51 points a game. and 521 yards per game. Conversely, Oregon State on offense, they're just a shade under 46 points a game, and they're gaining 468 yards per game. Now, defensively, both programs are kind of middle of the pack. In the Pac-12, USC, they're only giving up 19 points per game. Pretty good, 380 yards. Oregon State, they are giving up 25 points per game and 357 yards. Now, also, a couple of things here. This is the first time USC has gone 3 straight games without a turnover dating back to 2015. Okay. Conversely, the Beavers haven't turned it over in the Beavers have turned it over 3 times this season, but they haven't turned it over in their last 2 games. They've been credited with creating 8 turnovers on defense. And we know USC leads the nation. They're at a plus 10. So on that, I think whoever wins the turnover battle is going to win this game. And I'll rehash that number here in a little bit. Also, the Beavers are 3-0 for the first time since 2014. Their 4th game of the year in 2014 was against USC. They lost 35-10. So staying with the numbers, Oregon State, because I mentioned that USC is coming in the number 7 ranked team in the country. Well, the Beavers are 1-5 versus ranked opponents under Jonathan Smith. Their only win was against Oregon in 2020. In the this is going to be interesting. In the first half this season, Oregon State is outscoring their opponent 72-27. That's big time. And they're outgaining them an average of 250 yards to 142 yards. Oregon State has scored first in all 3 games they've played this year and have led at halftime in all 3 games. Well, just a reminder, USC is kind of good on offense. They've led at halftime of every game. I will repeat this again. They were better at Rice. They were better versus Stanford. But in the first 3 games, USC has scored touchdowns in their first 3 drives. So unless the Beavers are going to be able to go score to score with USC, are they going to be able to win the game? Again, you cannot trade field goals for touchdowns with USC. Fresno State, they weren't able to finish in the red zone, and when they got there, they had to settle for field goals. And we saw what happened at their 4th goal, end of the game stand by USC's defense. They will step up when they have to. Look, Oregon State, they went down and they got the win at Fresno, 38-35. It was the last play of the game. So if they're giving up 35 to Fresno, granted, it was on the road. I think USC's offense has proved they are better than the Bulldogs. And yes, USC will be on the road in Corvallis, where traditionally, they have a tough time. But this is a new program, new head coach, new players. Maybe all that past history is done with. Again, I think whoever wins the turnover battle, USC is going to turn the ball over eventually. It's going to happen. Let's just hope it's not this game. Let's hope USC can create 2 more. Again, they don't have to get turnovers in the conventional way. Get a couple 3 and outs, 3 or 4 of those. Turn those into points. USC will come away with a win. I'm going final score 48-27. Bet on that. And then head on over to Bet Online. You saw that one coming, didn't you guys? Because betonline.net is your number 1 source for your football betting information this season. You can find all of the latest player developments, team matchups, news, podcasts, and in-depth articles and analysis of every game you can find. And as always, BetOnline remains your continued source for all of your sports wagering information with live betting and up-to-the-minute scores for every sport out there. So if you don't have the Pac-12 network and you're not at the game, you know where to find the score. Check it out. They are also the fastest and easiest way to check in on all of your favorite games and events, including Major League Baseball, MMA, boxing, and golf. So head on over to betonline.net or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, so I'm going to just give some USC team news, notes, updates, kind of stuff, and we're going to get out of here. I'm going to make sure I don't over inundate you guys with too much information. We've got to spread it out. You get Locked On USC 5 times a week. And as you know, when you're not watching or listening to Locked On USC, you're heading right on over to wearesc.com because that's where all the big news, notes, nuggets that I can't give away for free are going to be over there. And I believe we got a 1-week free subscription going on. This is the time to check it out. Don't lose out. Don't wait too long. Anyways, done with the infomercial. So if you haven't heard by now, Lincoln Riley confirmed it. Gary Bryant Jr., wide receiver, is going to redshirt for the rest of the season. And it caught a few people by surprise. Caught a lot of people by surprise. Nevertheless, he's not hurt, but he is finding himself a little back on the depth chart. And last year when Drake London went down, he finished third on the team with 579 receiving yards, and he tied with London for 7 touchdown receptions. But, Riley brought in, 4 new guys. There's 6 new guys in that wide receiver room, 4 transfers, and some good guys. So eventually you knew this was going to happen. Gary's redshirting so he can save his eligibility. He will be hitting the transfer portal at the end of the season. Things could change, but when you're reading between the lines here, reading the tea leaves, or going to some trusted sources behind the scenes, the intention is for Gary to probably hit the transfer portal and go get some playing time where the room just isn't as crowded. Hey, look, there's a lot of talent at USC right now, and Gary is a very, very fast, talented wide receiver. But there are other players on this team right now that are just, at least as far as the coaching staff is concerned, filling the role better. And this is what happens. Look, you hate to say it's business, but this is business. Because these guys are still young adults. Some of you like to refer them as kids. I try not to. And especially today, you got NIL. You got these guys coming and going, treating themselves like they're pro players. You got to start treating them like adults. And you got to kind of be real with them. Gary's finding out that there's always going to be someone better than you. Just the way it is. That's life. And I like Gary. I hope he sticks around. Like I said, things could change. Nevertheless, everyone should anticipate. You probably see Gary Bryant make his last reception as a Trojan. So, moving forward, both starting left tackles are back practicing this week, and again, a reminder: Cortland Ford was dealing with a high ankle sprain. Bobby Haskins has a shoulder issue. But if you were looking for a clue from Riley after practice this week, good luck. He said after Tuesday's practice, we'll see. We just got to watch how the week unfolds, how these guys practice. But having both healthy is certainly a big plus for us going into the week, end quote. Look, I have one source who's already told me that we should probably anticipate Bobby starting this week. Cortland has started the previous two. He wasn't able to play this past week. But I think you're going to see Bobby starting this week. Not because he's more healthy than Cortland. I think it's because the staff really liked the way he fought through whatever he was dealing with last week. Played through 72 snaps. And I know that shoulder wasn't feeling good. So, again, he's going to have to earn it. He's going to have to play well. He's going to have to stay on the field and earn it because Lincoln Riley and Josh Henson have shown no qualms rotating. And I know Cortland Ford thinks he's still the only starting left tackle. And that's the mindset you have to have, bottom line. Speaking of mindsets, Shane Lee, he's talking about the defense's mindset. He was asked to kind of share his assessment after the first three games. I think we're playing okay at times. I think we have things to improve on, like explosive plays. I think the big thing is just the yardage in the run game. But I think we make sound stops, third down stops, fourth down stops, red zone stops. So we're a good defense. We just have to keep building like it takes time. And so it's still the beginning of the season, and I'm excited to see where we have to go. On the mindset thing, Shane talked about, it's about the bend but don't break, and how that, how that might be, how it's helping the team, because all of a sudden when they have their back against the wall, everything's about mentality when it comes to that kind of stuff. Shane was saying, just having your back against the wall and having to make a play. Multiple guys have to step up in those moments, and it's definitely a testament to the guys and to the defense. So, when you've got players coming over from Alabama like Shane Lee, who are going to constantly drive home the fact that no matter what, you got to keep fighting. When you've got the personality of a Lincoln Riley, who definitely will not let the team stop fighting. When I watch him coach and I watch him walk the sideline and muttering and talking and whatever, he and I have a very similar personality, very competitive. He's just such a stark difference than what the team had as their head coach prior to. Again, different personalities, but the difference between the two are night and day. And when you have somebody like that coaching, you don't want to disappoint. And because you're going to pay the price. You're going to hear about it. I'm not saying they didn't hear about it before, but it's different now. And different now is just better. So, on that, we're at the end of the show, because I'm just going to keep babbling and rattling, and I don't want to keep rambling. So, until our next episode, which is the day after you're watching this one, you know what to do. Starts with an F. Starts with an O.